Well, now let's discuss this some more with Rushan Abbas, who's executive director of the Campaign for Uyghurs. Her sister Gulshan was detained by the Chinese government 4 years ago and is actually currently serving a 20-year prison sentence. I would like to ask you about your sister, what you can tell us about her case. But I wanted to start by getting your thoughts on the visit of Michelle Bachelet to China. What do you wish could have been different about her trip?
Thank you for having me. And I am completely disgusted, beyond disappointment. This is an abdication of duty and insult to the families of those missing, and the betrayal of the founding principles of the United Nations and the values that Michelle Bachelet charged with upholding. She basically parrots the Chinese Communist government's narratives like anti-terrorism, and her action today legitimized China's genocide against Uyghurs. Her prison visit is a Potemkin-style sham. Her comments seem custom-made for the PRC's propaganda, China's propaganda machine, and are particularly egregious. In the week of the world just saw images of those horrific conditions in the camps, courtesy of the Xinjiang police files, where Xi Jinping himself demanded new camps be built because of the overcrowded, and the Qinhuangguo issued a shoot-to-kill order because of it. Is she getting paid by the Chinese government for repeating Beijing's talking points?
I mean, yeah, so obviously there isn't... Let me just ask you about your sister for a moment, because information on what happens in the camps is limited, but you quite rightly point out that there has been this leak of thousands of files that has shed light on a brutal policy. What can you tell me about your sister's case? Because I understand she has been imprisoned for 20 years. She is currently serving that sentence. Has she spent time in one of these camps?
I have no idea where she's being held at. Her information was given to Ms. Bachelet to follow up. In 2018, my sister, Dr. Gulshan Abbas, was taken by the Chinese government as hostage just 6 days after I spoke against China's genocidal policies, outlining the fate of my in-laws who were missing, the entire family of my husband's. And then 6 days after my speech, she was taken. And then when I raised her case of, you see her picture behind me here. She's a retired medical doctor, kind, peaceful, non-political person. But when I raised her case, I was accused by the Chinese state media for stealing someone else's photo and spreading lies about my missing relative. Then in December 2020, the Chinese government foreign ministry acknowledged her by her name, and confirmed a harsh sentence of 20 years on terrorism-related charges. No trial, no evidence, no proof of life, and no information on her whereabouts. So today I'm talking to you at the cost of my own sister's freedom.
I understand what you're saying. And actually, the Uyghur population had suffered persecution before these camps were established, and the report suggests that there are serious atrocities and human rights abuses, crimes against humanity taking place. For people around the world that might not know the background of the Uyghur community in China, can you help us to understand what it is about their origins, their connections, their roots, their religion that is threatening to the Chinese government, that is causing them to do this?
The Chinese communist regime occupied our homeland in 1949, and ever since then they have been trying relentlessly to destroy our culture, our religion. But when they couldn't assimilate us fast enough, and now last several years they have been conducting active genocide against us while outlining the religion itself. They are calling any kind of normal practice as illegal Islamic extremism, illegal Islamic activities. So basically, China is waging war on Islam. So we just had thousands of pictures showing how ridiculous China's faulty claims when they said it's about national security issue. There are faces of faces after faces of young teenagers, 14, 15 years old, and the 70 years old grandmas are being taken. So what kind of national threat is someone with beards on their faces or 70 years old grandma brought to a country which scared the United Nations human rights chief into lying today? I don't understand. We call for her immediate resign. Actually, she needs to resign from her position if she cannot deliver her position, her duty. Bachelet has an obligation to uphold her given duties, but she failed all of us. Knowing that she was the political prisoner herself, we had some hope. We thought that she would be fair. She would not betray her conscience for securing her position, and she would defend the oppressed. She would not be bought. But what she did today is far beyond her inactivity and her silence for the last 40-some months since her appointment as a High Commissioner. She made herself basically complicit with Uyghur genocide, and my people's blood will be on her hands.
Yeah, I understand that some very strong emotions there, and of course, you know, the image of your sister behind you, who has been imprisoned, who is still in prison in China. But thank you for sharing your thoughts and your experience with us. Rushan Abbas joining us.
Thank you, Maria.